And I think more times than not, in life, people treat God like a Santa Claus. And then when they don't get the gifts that they thought they were going to get, it's a problem. Like, I'm a firm believer that God redirects and maneuvers us when he has us on a mission. Right? And in the redirection, I think true courage is the ability to embrace what we don't understand. Because I know anybody can accept and embrace something that they do understand and that they know the end result. But I think true courage is when you find yourself in the midst of an opposition, piece of adversity, or situation, and when you're in the midst of it, you're thinking, man, how did this happen and how did I get here? But you still have a certain level of perspective to say, even though I don't understand it, even though I don't like it, I can still trust God, even though I can't trace God. And so when you speak about redirection, I'll never forget, like a couple days ago, you had September 11th incident, terrible situation. A lot of people lost their lives, senseless act, right? And so I'll never forget when I was at Tennessee, I was doing some research. I was in my master's program, and I was doing some research on the situation. And I remember watching a particular clip of the situation and watching things happen, watching the camera sway back and forth, watching people jump out of a building, run out of a building. And I read an article. And in this article, they spoke about people that lives were spared because of situations that happened and they were out of their control. And a lot of people didn't speak about it because a lot of people didn't know about it. So in turn, Pastor, they talked about this one gentleman that worked in one of the buildings. And that morning, I'll never forget, they said he was getting ready to leave home. And his wife came to him and said, hey, can you take our daughter to kindergarten today? And he responded, I really can't do it. I really need to get to work. And the wife says, can you please do it? I really need you to do this. I really need to get to work. It's what he said. I really need to get to work. The wife responds again, please, can you take her to kindergarten? He accepted. And the timing of him taking his daughter to kindergarten, when the building got hit, because of that incident, things transpired with him and his daughter and his wife, and he couldn't make it in time, the time of which he thought he was going to make it. And because of that interaction, it spared his life. He couldn't control it. One gentleman, he got on the New Jersey Turnpike, headed to the same building on the New Jersey Turnpike. It was an accident. Something happened. It stopped, right? And because it stopped, and I'm sure he was on his way to work, and when it stopped, I'm sure he was fussing and he was mad as all get out. But he couldn't control the situation, and because he couldn't control the situation, his life was spared. One gentleman, they sent him to get some donuts or something. He went to get some donuts. He's coming out of the building. Somebody spills coffee on his shirt. He has to go home to change his shirt. And because of a situation that happened, him going home to change his shirt, it spared his life. One gentleman got a new pair of shoes, walking down the sidewalk, started to get blisters on his feet, had to go back home, change his shoes. Because he had to change his shoes, spared his life. Situations that happened that was out of their control. And when you think about when things happen, the first thing we try to do as individuals, how can I control it and how can I manage it? And if I can't control it and manage it, now I'm frustrated and I'm mad about it. In the words of an older gentleman, he told me one day, he said, young man, you can't speed up the river and you can't slow it down. At a certain point, you got to have some faith. How many times do we get redirected and we don't know what we're being protected from and we're fussing and we're mad? Like, it's an amazing thing. Now when things happen, my perspective is totally different. Like when I'm in the airport and my flight get delayed and people go to fussing and I see them getting mad, and you know, you could be by them and they're getting mad and you almost get mad, and I'm like, I gotta walk off. They're about to make me mad, right? But when I walk off, I'm like, God, what are you protecting me from? Like when situations happen now, I'm like, life, what are you trying to teach me right now? Like, God, what can I extract from this situation since I don't like it and I don't understand it? I'm sure lessons and blessings, stages and phases, I'm sure it's something in it that I can extract and apply to some area of my life. James chapter 1, consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, when you face trials of many kind, because the testing of your faith goes on to produce perseverance, and perseverance must finish its race so that you may be complete